Good morning. Welcome to the Bond Sunday morning services. Thank you so much for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate it. We do have some emails that I'll try and get to today. I want to answer your questions. So continue to email us at church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org, and put your name and town on your emails. You can also call us at 1-800-411-BOND, 1-800-411-2663. I realize that we're not live on the internet, but you can call me during the week and I can answer some of your questions. As some of you are already doing, I can answer your questions at that time concerning the topic of today. And I do appreciate, your emails and your phone calls. We're starting to really have an impact out there. I don't know of anyone else who are having the type of meetings that we're having here at Bond, and a lot of you are being helped by it out there, and as well as the ones who attend the meetings. So thank you for that. church@bondinfo.org. I'm Lee Peterson, and good morning to you guys here. Appreciate you being here. This year, I want to talk. Our theme is to endure, and the reason that I came up with that is because I realized that a lot of people don't want to endure pain. They want life to be nice and easy and painless. And they don't realize that if it's like that, you're not going to get anywhere in life. It's like when someone gives you something and you don't earn your way, then it destroys you. It doesn't build you up. It tears you down. It doesn't develop character when things are easy for you. But last year, I had the opportunity of counseling with just hundreds of folks around the country over and over again. And 9 times out of 10, the ones who did not want to endure pain, they hated the situations in their lives. They ended up not getting over them. The whole year went by and they're the same as they were when the year started out. You will not get better in life unless you learn to endure pain. You got to take the pain. And it's the pain, there's a saying that no pain, no gain. And it's the pain that causes us to overcome and get better. No pain, no gain. It's like, I remember as a kid, whenever my grandparents were hard on me, even though I didn't like it at the time, I would rebel against the pain, I would cry, I would get upset. But I would notice that after a while, there was a change in me for the good. It made me do what is right. It made me get better in life. And as an adult, I got better in life. So I appreciate my grandparents being tough on me. Whereas with those parents who allow their kids to get away with things and not really make them earn their way growing up, they grow up to be lazy and criminals and dependent and looking to the government or somebody else to take care of them. When you read the history of Jesus Christ, Jesus suffered for us. He didn't just come here and lay back and bought us out of sin. He had to pay a price for us. It wasn't easy, and he paid the price. And just as he had to do it because he is our example, we're going to have to do it too. And so this whole year, I want to encourage you to rejoice in the time of tribulation. Don't complain about it. Don't murmur about it. Don't get upset about what you have to go through. Because if you do, folks, it's just a waste of time. And read more about the history of Jesus Christ. He's a good example of what suffering is. Last week, I asked you guys to read a chapter in the Bible. What was that? Anybody know what that was?
Hebrew chapter 12. Yeah.
Did you read it?
13.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I did.
You read it. Who did not read it? You did not read it. And why did you read it?
I didn't know that it was a sign.
I'm sorry?
I didn't realize that it was a sign.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear me say read it?
I must not have been paying attention.
Oh, okay. You didn't hear me say read it? I thought I said read it when you have time. You're really going to like it. I didn't say that? Yes, sir. Did you read it?
Well, something else came to mind real quick. It's relating to what we are talking about.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it says in the Bible.
Oh, well, hold that thought. I want to talk to the people who did not read it first. You say you did not read it, Kristen?
Well, no, Forrest thinks you assigned it on Thursday, because I don't remember it being assigned last Sunday.
Oh, I didn't assign it on Sunday?
You signed it on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I didn't read it.
Thursday.
Oh.
You read it.
But
You
we
read
read it on
and-
Sunday. And I didn't say, make sure you read it. Oh, okay.
Not last Sunday. on
But Thursday night
yes.
we said, read it, okay. Did you read it for us?
No.
Even after assigning on Thursday night, you still didn't read it?
Thursday was just like yesterday, you know, I mean, I just recovered from Thursday today.
No excuses around here.
I wish you had read it. Did you read it? Oh, okay. I wish you had read it. I read it over and over and over again. It has so much in there. We're going to talk about it in a minute here. But I wish you had read it. I wish you had read it. I really do. Because it's a lot about perseverance. I have to learn how to speak better with my words. Kelly, one of the Bond girls, is speaking up now. So she's speaking up to everybody. Anything that comes along, right? So she said to me the other night, Jesse, I noticed that when you say, you don't use the proper grammar sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I noticed that too, Kelly, thanks. She said, a lot of times when you say she, you don't say she has, you say she have, or he have. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true about me. I can't tell the difference sometimes. But I'm like, thank you, Kelly, for speaking up to me for that. So she's like speaking up to everybody. Do not get in Kelly's way if you don't want to hear the truth. But I'm glad she's doing it, because after a while it'll mellow out and she'll be right in the right place. It's always better to speak up than not to speak up. And if you see that you're wrong, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong about it, but at least you get it out. But anyway, in that chapter, it talks about the suffering that we have to go through and what it all means. And it's so important that you read it. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I remember when it was read last week, wasn't that also about being receptive to, I don't want criticism, that other people can help you with? Is that part of it?
Yes.
Is being,
I wish you had read this. I'm so ready to talk about it. Tell Doug to come and stand right there. I want him to hear something. Then, Forrest, I'm coming to you. Yes, Pat.
I'll make a point about people reading stuff. We need to get past the idea of waiting for someone to tell us to read something.
Right.
Because you read the chapter last Sunday. Somebody had an interest in it. Hey, go and open the book and read it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the preacher to tell you to read the book.
Right. Look like you would have wanted to read it after we hooped and hollered about it so much on last Sunday. And before you did anything else, I would have wanted to at least go home and read that short. Let me make this point about it, and then I'll let you make your point. And just to piggyback on what you said about it. It says that perseverance is part of your training. Isn't that amazing? I mean, just that alone to me means so much. Perseverance is part of your training. God is treating you as his son. I mean, that alone is enough just in that one thing. But since you guys, most of you didn't read it, maybe you guys should go home and just the readers here. But that alone, isn't that some perseverance is part of your training? God is treating you as his son, meaning that he's giving you pain because he loves you. He's a brutal father because he loves you. Today they would put him in jail. They would call it child abuse and put you in jail, right? But God has given us pain. He's given us challenges because he loves us. It's like a father or mother who allow you to keep falling down and watching you get up on your own instead of reaching down and pulling you up because they love you. Isn't that amazing? Yes. And that's why we got to not be so into complaining about suffering. Later on in here, though, we'll talk about it. It says that if you complain about suffering for too long, it brings on grief. I know people who are so into anger, and they have named it and claimed it and complain about it, that they're locked into grief now of anger. That's all they know. It seems almost natural. And you're not supposed to be complaining, folks. You're supposed to rejoice in a time of tribulation. It brings on patience, understanding, and growth. But I won't steal the whole thing. Go ahead, John. You read it.
Yes, I did. a matter of fact, I went through it and I didn't understand a number of passages, but just to add on to what you said, is that God loves us. God loves His sons. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to.
Yeah, do me a favor.
read.
Don't add to what I said.
No, no,
Tell
I'm
me
going
what
to. I'm
you
going to
got
come
from it, because
I'm
that's
going to
what I
come
want.
right to that.
Okay.
Okay. He loves those who in other words, He chastises those who He loves.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you already said it. And the reason why it's actually good to focus on this is because, you know, our life has become such that, you know, we get away from that, even in a day-to-day living. You know what, in the old days, people used to work hard, you know, and pain was more part of life than it is today. The way our life has become through technology and whatever else, okay, life is, you know, it has become, you know, we have become softer. You know, that's really true.
I
We
think
really
that
become
everybody-
softer, and that's the reason why that is so important, really.
I think that everybody needs to
Aside
go
from
back to
other-
picking cotton and chopping down trees and the hard life,
Yeah.
because that's the best life. You're absolutely right. When you hear that God is treating us this way because we are His sons, He's given us His pain for that reason. What goes through your mind? Mean God? No.
I just never heard that before.
Yeah.
I don't, what goes through my mind, I guess, would be more like, you know, how I was brought up, in a sense that I was always made to work. Always, if I wanted any money, I had to go out and mow the lawn or do something.
Yeah.
And so I hated it then, but, you know, it taught me how to work, for sure.
But you didn't know that God treated you the same way, right?
No.
And the interesting thing about it, He treats only His sons and daughters that way. He doesn't treat worldly people that way.
Yes.
Only the ones who are His sons and daughters, He chastises. Everybody else, He lets you go to hell. He doesn't even care. Isn't that amazing? But because He's your Father, He's constantly chastising you and correcting you and causing you to overcome. So it's a blessing that He's treating us this way, because we are His children. If we're not His children, He'll let us just end up on Skid Row and just look at us like we're crazy. Yes, sir.
How does He chastise you, though?
Very good question. Did anybody hear that question? Ask it again so
Yes.
that Mike can speak it up.
How does He chastise?
How does He chastise? Let Him out. Because He's the sinner and you're the saint.
Thanks, Mama. I mean, John.
No. But ask the question again.
How does He chastise you?
Answer the question.
Me?
Uh-huh. This is so good. I couldn't wait to come here today to talk about this. But I was hoping everybody read it.
Well, I don't really, well, let me just give it. say
That
what I
is a
want.
$1 million question.
Yeah, it is.
Challenges.
Yeah, well, challenges,
Be quiet, Mama.
challenges
You gonna
do
say what
come
you say.
anyway, but, yeah, I mean, of
We're
course,
talking about being a good father, and Mama would give the answer out.
Sorry.
Okay.
my, I don't really have a good answer.
Okay.
I really don't.
I can't think of your name. You can shoot me in the red. I'm terrible name. How does you read it? You read this, right? How does He chastise? When you think about God chastising you, how does He do it?
When I don't,
And see, I want you guys to know this, because if you know it for yourself, you're going to be fine in life. I know it for myself because I know myself now. And I see what He's doing to me. And I'm okay with it. It doesn't always feel good, but I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to have that same insight about yourself. So that's what I'm asking. How does He chastises you?
when I don't do what I know that He wants me to do, and there are times when I know that he has told me to do something. And in my mind's eye, I go a different way. Then the consequences of that, I have to suffer. But that suffering is not without without a knowledge that he undergirds me. For instance, oh gosh, I can't think of a good for instance.
I'm loving this endurance thing. I'm looking forward to this year too. Just really just getting into the meat of it. Because people do not like pain. And if they get some pain, they only want it for a minute. When will this pain end?
Yes. True that.
I want this to be over. I thought it was going to be over yesterday, right?
Oh, I like
Not in your time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can't think of a good example, but there are times when I know that I have taken a turn that I knew that I shouldn't take. And I know that I am going through. And I know that God is with me going through. I know that I'm going through because of what I did. And I know that he's with me as I go through.
Okay. And so that's how you know he's chastising you. Right? Pain. How about, you had your hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your conscience bothers you. You can't. I know this from personal experience because I'm lazy.
You're lazy?
You asked me once if I was lazy. I remember this. I never forget. And at the time I said no, but that's because I was listening to my thoughts.
Yeah.
But your conscience bothers you, and you're not able to make good decisions, until you snap out of it.
Okay, so that's how you know when he's chastising you.
Yeah.
Okay. You had your hand? Of course. Yes.
I've noticed that some of the nagging problems that I have that I know are wrong, and that I have bad habits that I've stopped. I've had a message from God not to do this, and I will stop doing it, and then maybe 2 years later I'll do it again because I think the circumstances are different and the penalty and the outcome is worse.
Okay.
And then 2 years later I'll do it again and the outcome is worse again until it gets to the point where the pain is almost unbearable. And I'm not very smart. It takes me a lot of pain to
And when you say pain, what kind of pain are you having? What type of pain are you having? So
just,
people understand pain. What do you mean by pain?
just the agony to where, why would I do this when I know it's wrong and there's something stubborn in me that wants to go in this direction.
Yeah.
When it is not the way to go, and then the ultimate conclusion of my actions appears in front of me, and I'm thinking, well, even a 2-year-old can figure this out. Why can't you figure it out when you have seen it so many times, and the outcome every time gets worse, noticeably worse, multiplied worse, and I think, well, hopefully I'll learn this time.
And that's why do you know at that time God is chastising you?
There's no mistake.
Okay.
There can't be any mistake about it. It's not a coincidence anymore.
Right.
It's not a coincidence that it ended up the way it ended up.
Is this helping so far? Some. You don't have it yet. No. All right. We want to make the light bulb come on for you. And not just you. A lot of people don't know when God is chastising them. They don't know this is the time that I need to endure. Because I think that if they truly knew it, then they wouldn't complain about it. They wouldn't blame others for it. They would just take it and get it over, just like that. Because when he's chastising you, one of the reasons that the pain lasts so long, your ego don't want you to admit you were wrong. That is you. It feels like you want to blame others, right? I was listening, and speaking of blaming others, I'm watching this report this morning, this news report about the housing market. And this woman, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes, that's her name. She's a little black lady with an afro.
Eleanor Holmes Norton?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eleanor Holmes Norton. They were up there blaming. They were blaming racism on the fact that black people lost their homes in this crisis. They were blaming on racism. I'm thinking, this is evil. Now, they cried racism so that they could get the loans. They said, we can't get loans because we're black, and they are discriminating against us. They won't let us have loans, right? And so the government said, okay, we'll set up a program so you can get the loans. And so the government set up the program, they get the loans, and they get these loans that they can't afford to have. They get these loans that after a while the interest rate goes up. What do you call it, subprime loans? Are they called subprime?
Well, those are subprime variable rate loans.
Subprime, right, where the rate goes up after a year or so. Right. And so apparently a lot of black Americans took that loan as well, right? As a matter of fact, I had a loan like that on my house. And then for some reason, something told me I need to get out of it. And I got out of it just like that and went back to the fixed rate just in time. And right after that, everything crashed. It was so weird. But so the government said, okay, black folks, we're going to give you a loan. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac and all, you can have it. And they ran out and got the loans, and everybody just grinning and having fun and getting all these loans and refinancing their homes, thinking America love us, you know. Then everything crashed, and now they're blaming racism that they went out and got the loan. They're saying, well, they should not have given it to us, or they didn't tell us the truth about it. I'm like, oh my God, give me a break. And I'm thinking, and the reporter asked Eleanor about this. She said, well, didn't they get these loans from black realtors? And Eleanor paused for a moment, and she said, well, we don't want to blame the black realtors. We don't want to say that they deceive black Americans. I'm like, you idiot, you need to do something about your head and you can think better. It's crazy how they're doing that. Just take no responsibility at all. If you don't take any responsibility for your wrongdoing, you're never going to get better. If you don't take the pain and say, you know what, nobody made me take this loan. I went out there, it looked like it was a good thing. I was greedy, I wanted it. I wanted the money and I did it. I lied to get the loan, because a lot of these folks lied about their credit. They used their children's social security number and everything to get those loans. And now they're still turning around and blaming that on racism. My point is, when you're suffering, when you're being chastised, if you blame anybody else for it, you don't get better. Have you noticed that? And in that pain, it's hard to say that this is my fault. It is so easy to blame someone else. But the moment you can admit, because you don't go through anything that you don't deserve to go through. Have you noticed that? Yes. Really, everything we go through, we deserve to go through it. And it makes us better if we deal with it right. But it can make us worse if we don't. I don't know why I said all that. I forgot why I said all that. I hope it paid off, though. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
God chastising us, but chastising me. Even though, you know, I married my wife, and I wasn't forced to. But I made a mistake. That's true. I made a mistake, but I still see that that's one way God is chastising me.
Yes, that's right. And it's not your wife's fault.
No.
It is your fault.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
That's right. And when you can accept the chastisement like that, I remember, then you could get better. I remember once my grandmother, probably many times, but she was going to whoop me, and she made me go out and tear the limb off the tree to whoop me with, right? And normally when my grandmother's whooping me, I'm like screaming and yelling and carrying on. And as long as I scream and yell, she just have a ball on me. But I decided one day I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to take this one. And for some reason, she couldn't go that long on me that time. It looked like she felt bad about it or something. And it was because I was willing to take the punishment for what I had done. But if every time I was unwilling to take the whooping for what I had done, I mean, that was longest whooping you will ever have. But when you can make up your mind that I'm going to take the pain for doing wrong, you'll be fine. Really. Because God is chastising us. We're his sons and daughters, and he loves us. That's why he's doing it. Yes, ma'am.
Endurance is a really great thing for me this year, because I mean, when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I get worse.
Yes.
And it's just, that's how God is, I mean, everybody has a different set of challenges.
That's right.
So, I think I know what I should be doing, but I'm not.
That's right.
And so it's, you take the responsibility for that. It's not fun, but then you've got to, finally say, okay, well, am I going to pay the price, which is doing the things that you should be doing?
Yes, ma'am.
And so I think that's how you know if, I think you're being chastised, because everybody's got their own set of problems. But if you're not having that really good life.
Very good point. Everybody have their own thing you got to go through. It's all the same spirit, but everybody have their own sin, their own problems they got to go through. But if you can relax and go through it and don't complain, don't get so into it that it turns to grief, you can get over it. It's going to be painful for a little while. You can hoop and holler just a little bit, but do not get so into it. It's like when someone dies that is close to us. God said we should grieve for 3 days and then wash our face and hands and go our way, right? And you notice those people who take that grief beyond that third day, you'll see them in 10 years, they're still grieving over somebody that's died. Because it turns to something else when you let it last too long. You cannot let this stuff go on because it's spiritual. It's a spirit and it's evil. And if you don't do it in the proper way, it destroys your nature. It's not even necessary to go past, mama's dead. It's hard that mama or daddy died, right? Cry 3 days, wash your face and hand, and let the dead bury the dead, you go live your life. But if you take it past, a year later, what's wrong? Mama died. Mama died in 1990. And I'm not over it yet. It's evil. It's all ego. It's not necessary. Yes?
And to recognize it, like Kelly says, but just don't judge yourself. Just, that's not your job, is to judge yourself. It's just to try to get over it by doing the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But, just don't get caught up in I wish I were a better person, I'm being punished. No, just recognize what you need to do. And
never, ever, ever say, why me? The most weakest, pathetic person in the world say, why me? Why not you? That should be the question. Why not me, God? I mean, Jesus never once said, why me? And if you have read this Hebrews chapter 12, 1 through 13, God is not even asking us to shed blood. Jesus had to shed blood. And so far, no one in this room and out there, as far as I know, have you had to shed blood in your suffering yet? No. Other than Frankie, I think that's it. But he's not even asking us to shed blood in our chastisement, in our endurance. And this little stuff that you're complaining about is ridiculous anyway. It's really silly. Let me take right here, Patrick. Did I come to you? Yeah. Yes.
I was going to say, you brought that example of someone dying. That happened to me a year or so ago when someone close to me passed away. And I won't say it took me 3 days, probably took me about 6 months. But even in my grieving time, I could see how if I let it, if I held on to it, how it would take me down with
Yes.
it, if you will.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it wasn't like, it took a while, but it was a constant, you had to still fight against what would eventually drag you down and become all-consuming, if you will.
Yeah.
And eventually I did get over it, but it's very dangerous territory that you're in if you allow yourself to be pulled down by it, because it becomes all you think about all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
And it seemed like in retrospect now, that it was one of the things I had to definitely endure, because every day I still had to get up, I still had to go to work, I still had to perform certain functions, do certain things.
Yeah.
And those things were hard for me to do, but I had to endure and get through it, otherwise it would have changed my whole life
Yep.
when that person was gone and I couldn't get that person back no matter how much I wanted to grieve for her, you know?
And
So-
then when you think about it, the person is dead anyway.
Yeah.
And you're not really grieving about them, you're grieving
For you.
about your own selfish self,
Right,
your own
because
selfish
you
needs.
miss that person, or
Yeah,
you want that
you-
person, or you're angry at that person for not being here if they had some, as if they had some control, and maybe
Yes.
you think they had some control, but that's not for you to ever say, because you can never know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's all those, but you can see, like, if I didn't have the kind of the background and the clarity to kind of step away from what the thoughts were, eventually I wouldn't have got out of bed. You know, I would have maybe functioned at some lower point of how I used to function, because that would have taken place of what how I used to be.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
it's very, very dangerous, and I kind of look back at it now that I've endured and got through it, and how I was thankful that I had the knowledge to not let that overcome me, if you will.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's a very, very evil thing.
It's evil.
Yeah.
Our battle is a battle between good and evil, and you have to be real careful in the way you deal with life, because you can lock in with evil and it just become a part of your life. I know a lady who, every time I see her now, she said, I'm an angry person. I'm just so angry. And I said to her, you got to stop saying that. You got to stop saying that, because you are now identifying with it. And that anger is not you. It's a spirit that's made a home in you. And you need to pray. You need to sit still so God can separate you from that spirit, so you can know that it is not you. Because we are justified and or condemned by our words. We can say things over and over again until it absolutely become who you are. Because it's a spiritual thing. We have power in our words. And so I said to her, you got to stop saying that. Well, how do you not? I am angry. It's not you. It's a spirit inside of you. The real you is not an angry person. The true you, your true nature, is not an angry nature. It's just that something else comes in and overshadows that, and you identify with it, and then it starts to feel like it's you. But it is not you. But you can name and claim it until it will become who you are. And that doesn't mean you go around saying that I'm not angry. And hopefully we can get in today how you deal with that. But you should not keep claiming that you're an angry person. If you have that spirit of anger, it's enough to know that it's there, but do not identify with it, because it's not you. How many people understand that? I'm telling you, when you run into people who are claiming that they're angry, you need to tell them, you got to stop naming and claiming that, because you're justified. You condemn yourself when you do that. Yes, Pat?
Just want to kind of reiterate this thing about the thoughts being connected. When you're chastised by God and man, you chastised me earlier for something, and it's kind of a devastating charge, and my life has been about getting that kind of chastisement and just burrowing underground about 20 yards.
Right.
I'm just not coming out. No one's going to see me for 6 months. But and the reason for that is because I've been so connected with my thoughts.
Yes.
And there is no other way really to overcome this kind of stuff without separating.
Yes, sir.
I have to separate from my thoughts.
You gotta separate.
Because my
from
thoughts would take me down there every time.
Yes.
So it's like then you just get then the pain that you get is the pain that you get, and that's all it is, and it's bearable. God never gives you anything more. But with the thoughts, then we add this supersonic pain, and then it's just off the chart.
How many people understand that? That is so true.
Yes.
Do you understand what he just said? It is so true. That's why God said you have to be still, because in stillness, you're able to endure and overcome anything. The shock is to your ego. When it shocks you, when someone corrects you and you want to just bury yourself, it's just your pride being attacked, and no one wants to admit that they're wrong. Most people want to feel in their pride that they're all good, all knowing, all powerful, and then someone comes along and say, no, you're no good. I remember I told a preacher on my radio show one day, he going on and on about something. I said, you know what? You need to be born again. Not only are you not a preacher, you're not even born again. And it was shocking to him. I mean, he didn't know what to do with it. But it was to his ego, to his pride. One of the ways that I've been chastised by God is that I I work with a lot of people, and a couple of years ago I ran up on an angry person that I was working with. And for a little while, this angry person was acting as though they were fine. They were getting it, they were doing fine. And one day they shocked me. I mean, it just, all hell came out. I'm like, I was shocked by it. And in that shock, I wanted to just not deal with that person anymore. But I couldn't find peace within myself not dealing with that, because I needed to deal with that to get better, and they needed somebody to be patient with them through it. And so I realized, you know what, I got to deal with this person. It's for their good and my good, and he would not let me have peace until I realized I needed to deal with that. And I was shocked into not wanting to deal with it. And I'm glad to see that. Now, I have to tell you, this particular person got some serious, deep, shocking anger. But I'm excited to be ready to deal with it again, because hopefully I pray that they get over it and I get better from it. He's chastising me because he wants me to get tougher. You know, he doesn't want me to cower down to this hell that's in this person. And so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm kind of excited about it. You know, I'm ready to take this on now, because I took the whooping. He won't let me have peace. You know, he won't let me relax until I go and deal with this. I'm being chastised for running away from it. Yes, Pat.
Just one other thing about why me, when you mentioned the why me factor, that really kind of blew my mind, because I've, always think why me. I've always thought why me, why, like I get mad, in traffic or something like that, or something happens that seems like unusual. Like you said, he chastises those he loves.
Yes.
And why me becomes, why are you doing this? Why are you chastising me when you're not chastising Johnny, right?
Yes.
But we have it backwards,
Wow.
that it's because he loves us that he does. And it's like almost like I want to read this over and over again too, because just to kind of get it into my system.
I read this over and over. I was just loving this yesterday, reading it over and over again. And then I even saw Kent yesterday. I'm like, did you read that chapter? And I think you told me yes. But it's just so much in here, just in this one chapter alone, about endurance.
It's the opposite of when we say why me, we think why me like you're picking on me.
Yes.
Like it's unfair in some kind of way.
Yes. Ego, prideful people say, why me? People who are children of God do not say, why me? Because they know why they need to go through it. I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm a child of God and I have to suffer, whereas my neighbor is a sinner and they're not suffering. Why would God treat me this way and not treat them that way? They're not realizing that it's because they're children of God that he's treating them that way. And he doesn't care about these folks. So let them look like they're partying and having a good time. Let them go to their father, the devil. It's the ones that he loves that he corrects. Just think about our own children. Well, a lot of parents don't do it now. But don't you correct your own children because you want them to be better? You have this love for them, so you punish them so that they can get better. Just think about that. And so God is, in his righteousness, is better than we are. Why don't we accept it from him as well? Most Christians don't expect God to chastise them. They think, and he is all love, but they think in his love, he's just going to shower you with love. And he is showering you with love, but not the kind of love you think that it should be. Not this worldly human love. It's a different kind of love. I'm loving this. Are you loving this, Pat?
In a perverse kind of way, yeah.
I'm solely loving it. My Father loved me, so he's punishing me. When I'm weak, in areas where I'm weak, he brings something that will cause me to wake up and get better in life. What do you think about that, Doug? Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
You never thought of God loving you like that, right?
No.
Yeah. Did you read that chapter?
Yeah.
You read it. And what did you get from it when you read it?
Just pretty much, like I said, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever say that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just different. It's new.
But it's a good new though.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? You don't seem very happy.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. It's a good new. Yes, sir.
Well, if you read the first part of it, it kind of goes to this part why it is exciting.
Yeah.
You see something at a certain point in your life, and you know you need some harsh medicine to get it out of there. Just like if you had a bad flu or something, you could dropping down some old remedies.
That's right.
You know, so you know that if, yeah, you don't like what you're going through, but you know that this is the medicine it takes for you to be free of this stuff.
That's right. Read the first part that you're talking about.
It says,
And read it loud.
with so many witnesses and a great cloud all around us, we too then should throw off everything that weighs us down and the sin that clings so closely, and with perseverance keep running in the race which lies ahead of us.
Yes. And you know the thing that weighs us down is all ego, our pride, our resentment. When you resent chastisement, when you resent having to endure, it weighs you down. But if you can just let that pass and take it, you can get past your sins, you can go free and deal with anything. Just don't resent it. Don't become angry about it. Let anger go. And you can endure it. That's what weighs you down. Just test it. I could be like totally 100% wrong. You can test it for yourself. Whatever your little secret is that you're going through in life, don't resent it and see what happens. Don't resent the pain of it. See what happens. You can go free just like that. That's what weighs you down. You hate it. Most people, that shock that I got, I resented that person for shocking me like that. And that's what caused me not to want to deal with them. But I realized I'm wrong. And now I want to deal with it. But you gotta not resent it. Do not resent it. That's the only thing that weighs you down. It's like you put a heavy load on you when you put resentment, when you resent anything or anybody or yourself. That is absolutely good. I wish you guys had read this, James. Yes, yes,
I
ma'am.
was just gonna say, I get little glimpses, like where I'm free of the resenting, seeing myself, and but then I go back to sleep or something.
Yes.
And so what I've noticed is that I've been trying to wake up for years and years, and it's like I've been in denial. It's like I'm fighting, I'm coming to these meetings, and at the same time I'm fighting the truth every ounce of my being. But suddenly now I really want to, I want to see it and get through it. And so I'm kind of looking for the answers now. For the first time, I'm kind of questioning every time I take a bite of food or something.
Yes.
I'm trying to be aware enough to question, do I need this, do I not
Be
need this?
aware. Absolutely.
And-
That's the key word. Be
Yeah.
aware.
But this is the first time after all these years. I can't believe it's taken me so long. Is that endurance?
That's okay. It's better late than never.
Is that endurance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You didn't give up on yourself.
I have persevered for sure, but boy, I've been like, I'm like a little kid that won't let go of that toy,
Yeah.
that
That's
thing that's hurting them.
Yeah. Well, thank God you're still alive so you can wake up. That's the good thing about it.
Yep.
That you're still alive because you could have died in that darkness.
Yeah, I still can,
You better hurry up.
Don't say that.
You're not a little fried chicken anymore.
Yeah.
But thank God you're alive, that you can wake up. I thank God that I'm alive so I can be awakening, that I'm constantly growing and seeing things. Because a lot of people die in that darkness. Absolutely. Yes. A lot of people don't even know about what we're talking about. They don't even know that there is a kingdom of heaven within, that there is a consciousness within themselves that they have to connect with and live from. They don't even know about it. A lot of preachers don't even mention it because they don't know. So we're very fortunate in that we know about it. At least we hear about it. We know if there's this possibility. It is interesting that I know about it because I'm not a smart kind of a person. I barely finished high school. As Kelly said, I use wrong grammar. But I know about this thing, and it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So if I can know about it, and I didn't go to college, and all you folks around here have PhDs, MSDs, YSDs, it should be easy for you. But it is there. It's interesting that it's there, though. It's just so interesting that it's there. That was just so, I'm acting real weird right now. But I can't, and I want to tear up from it, because how do you grasp that there is another life inside of us that we're supposed to live from? And this other life is an abnormal life that you live. This anger, the fear, the doubt, the worldly life is an abnormal life. This other life is a normal life. You know, how do your mind grasp something like that, you know? That is real, but it's so real. And the only way you're going to get it, you're going to have to calm down and take the pain. And endure. That's the only way it's going to happen. You got to calm down. You got to stop overreacting. You can't get it running around, hooping and hollering, partying, complaining, getting drunk, getting high, having sex with everybody and their mama, running away from your challenges. You got to calm down so that you can become one with it. You can awaken. Isn't that something? And once you can be still, it is something else. And for me to know it, take my word, it is real. It's real. Because he allows me to see it. Anyway, Pat want to finish his point, and then I saw a hand here, and I'll come back to you, John. Yes?
I notice when I'm getting the truth about myself now, it's shock. This is a shock to my system.
Yeah.
And it's like a certain kind of awakening.
Yes.
And I notice that now I can't really go back to sleep. As much as part of me wants to sleep and deny, there's a part of me, there's another side that's appearing to be stronger that's keeping me from falling asleep completely. And if
Yes,
I start to slumber a little bit, and it kind of wakes me back up, almost like automatically.
That's why I say that once you're born again, you cannot go out of it and come back and go out of it and come back. Once you awaken, you have awakening, that's it. And you start to grow from it. That doesn't mean you don't go in and out of your imagination sometimes, a lot of times. But you're still awake enough where you're coming out of it. And then you start to grow from that. Absolutely. Isn't that nice?
Well, it's interesting in that it has nothing to do with me, and it's
Yes,
just,
sir.
It's just you're in some kind of a system, and it operates a certain way. You know.
I love it. If we were in a black church, everybody be hooping and hollering, just all over the floor. And
Rolling on the floor.
And then while they're doing that, the ushers would go and get the money basket. And so it's just before they come down, collect all the money. But you're absolutely right. You're in a different system now where you cannot lead anymore. And you just grow from that. You get better and better. You're born again into a new, out of the darkness into the light. And once you're locked in forever. Now, if you can get out of it, I don't know about it. Maybe there's something you could do. I don't know. But why would anyone want to come out of the light back into the darkness? You know what I'm saying? But you got to endure. You got to stop complaining. Just imagine if Jesus had said, "Oh, I don't want to do this today. I did it last year. We were all in. Why me?" Just imagine what would have happened had he said that. We could all just hang it up. But never once did he complain. He said to the devil, "Get behind me, Satan." And he said to God, his Father, "Whatever I have to do, give me the power to do it. Whatever your will is, let it be done." That's the attitude we should have. Whatever your will is, if I got to suffer through it, I just have to suffer through it. But let your will be done, not my will, but your will. Isn't that cool? Yes. Isn't that cool, Doug? Yeah. You don't look very happy about it. No, I'm kidding. Yes, let me take favor first. Yes, sir.
This is a great subject for me because for a lot of years I tried really hard to...
Am I moving too much?
Yeah.
Oh, John, let me know. Tell me to calm down. I'm acting like a Negro up here. Whatever was good to black, they start to move. And white people just stand here. And yes, this is really good. Praise the Lord. But black people start moving. Yeah, when it's good. So I won't move. I'm going to act white. I do have some white in me. Did you guys know that?
What?
I have some white blood in me. Yeah, Barack is my half brother. The way I found out that I had some white blood, I have a hair lip, a cleft palate, and the dentist told me the other day he's like, this is not a black person thing, this is a white man's thing. He's like, you have white blood in you? I'm like, yeah, I've been told that. I was all happy. What a way to find out I have white blood, huh? I got the bad part of white blood.
I thought you were going to say you can't dance.
Oh. No, I can get down in my mind. Yeah. I'm sorry. Somebody was talking.
Yeah, for years I tried real hard to escape the pain, and you know, like I was really saying to God, leave me alone. This isn't what I was bargaining for.
Yeah.
I just wanted the easy road and find the light, but I didn't want to have to pay anything for it. I mean, and that's just, I don't know.
Wow.
And then when I finally realized, that this is for my good and it's not a big deal. If I don't fight it, it's over. It's amazing how quickly correction just passes if you don't fight it.
Yeah.
You just see it and it's gone. You acknowledge it and it's gone. And it's the fighting it that, man, that is excruciating. And then also I realized too that if my conscience left me, that is scary. And that kind of shook me up.
Yeah.
Because I was close. I felt like I was close to where he would just depart from me, and then I would have no basis to come back anymore.
That is so powerful. Can you imagine waking up to consciousness, to the mind of God, and he depart from you? I would throw myself over the bridge. I can't imagine that happening.
Yeah, because then the whole standard is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 point and 2 points you made. One is that you definitely want to go toward the pain, not away from it. Go toward the pain. Patrick had to go and do something this week with the manager, talk to one of the managers. And it was so painful for him to go back and talk to the manager again. He would tell me that his mind saw him and, I don't know if he said, why me, but I'm sure he probably wanted to say, why me? But he did it anyway, and it turned out to be well. It's not, you got to go toward the pain and not away from it. You got to, whatever your little private secret thing is, you got to face it. Whatever your fear is, you got to go toward it and not away from it. You get better when you go toward it and not away from it. You really do. And you got to pay for this. You do have to give up something to get it. You got to give up your sinful ego nature. That nature that's of the devil. You got to give up something. It doesn't come free. Christ had to give up something for us. Why shouldn't we have to give up something? So instead of saying, why me? Why not me? And I never say, why me? I just ask God to give me the power to endure it. Whatever your will is, if this is what I must go through, give me the power to do it. Take me through it. I don't want to complain through it because I see I get better from it now. And then he can be glorified and you can help others and all that good stuff. All right? But you're absolutely right. You got to face the pain. You got to go to it, not away from it. I don't know anybody on earth, and if you guys know someone, let me know, who ran away from their pain and got better. I don't know anyone who ran and got better.
What about Jonah?
What about what?
Remember that guy that ran and then he got stuck in the whale?
Oh, except him.
But he had to come back.
Yeah.
But he came back though.
He did. Yeah, he had to
Well,
come
the
back.
whale dropped.
But you got to go to it. There's no other way. No other way out. Either you run away from it and you play basketball with the girls, or you get on the team with the guys. You got to face it. I want to say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's just the way it is. You got to face it. Even when you're ill, when you have a physical pain in your body, if you just relax and take that pain and and be conscious of that pain and relax, you can get over the pain. You can be healed. But if I'm sick, I'm out of it, why me? Mama hate me, daddy hate me, you're going to be sick forever and people are going to stop coming around to visit. But it's consciousness going toward it that causes you to get better. Isn't that amazing? Let me take John Sheila now. Come. Yes, John.
I just realized something. Unless you're willing to endure, you never be able to love, experience love or love someone else unless you have really the willingness to endure,
That's right. Absolute truth.
you know?
If you don't endure it with your own life, you should never love your fellow man. Because you're a selfish person. Selfish people cannot love. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Two things. First, I want to thank you for giving us this for this year.
Yes.
I really needed it. And then I want to thank John for, after I talked to him yesterday, he told me what we were supposed to read.
Okay.
And I read it and we read it together. That last thing you just said about like physical pain, this year was the most physical pain I've ever had to endure in my life. And there were times when I thought, okay, I'm checking out.
Yeah.
I've gone through so much as a child and had to deal with a lot of different things, but I've never really felt that bad.
Yes.
So if it's your will, I guess I'm going to check out. That's what I told him.
That's
and,
right.
And I thought to myself, how selfish is that? All I have to do is go through it
Yes.
to get to it. And the minute I was able to say that to myself, I took myself off of several medications that the doctors had me on. And when they found that out, they were pretty angry because you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But
It's
what
bad for business when you do that.
Yeah, that's what I found out. But forget business, because it was about me and my body. The
Yeah.
minute I found out what actually worked for me were certain supplements and my diet, and talked to Rhonda and a few other people, it was amazing what happened to my body. It started to heal itself.
Yes, ma'am.
In 10 days, I go back to work, and I'm going to have to, quote unquote, endure in the department that I work in,
Yes.
which is a difficult one. But I'm going to go through it because I know I can now.
Yes, ma'am.
No matter what I have to face, and I have a lot to face, we have a lot of different things that's going on right now, between Marcus and myself, between the nation, between the world, or whatever.
Yeah.
People have a lot of things that are going on.
That's right.
But I am going to endure, and this is awesome to me.
Wow.
Awesome.
Hallelujah.
You're about to bring out all the mama in me right now. I'm totally loving it. And you're saying so much and so powerful. I want to respond, but I want to let some of the other Christians respond to something you said. Anybody get anything with what she said?
Yes.
What'd you get from it, Pat?
Well, I know Sheila, so I just saw her speak, and I saw everything I needed to see
Yeah.
in the way she's clear-eyed, dealing with stuff, and there's a determination in her that I really admire
Yes.
that I hadn't seen before.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's a beautiful thing that to realize that the pain is temporary, and that if you can see that there's an end, there will be an end, and that's all you need to know to get through it.
Yeah.
Because people get in pain and think, this is forever. It's never forever unless you make it forever.
That's
It's
right.
that if you realize that you have to just get through it, that at some point there is an end, and once you've gotten to the end, look back and the duration doesn't seem maybe as bad in retrospect. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing that you can see that there's a start and there's an end of things, and the point is just to get through it, and you'll become a better person at the end of it.
And there is something else that happens when you stop complaining even about physical pain that allows you to be healed. And anybody know what that is? Once you stop complaining? No? All right. When you stop complaining, you wake up to God's consciousness. You wake up to that. And you create a space between the pain and the possibility of healing. Because now you're not connected to the pain, you're connected to His mindset, His consciousness, and all things are possible, right? So when you create that space, then you are allowing the possibility of healing to take place. Because it's like when you complain, you're totally one with your ego, with your pride. God is not a part of it. You can't even see anything. You see no hope in getting better. But when you separate from that pain, it's like being in a crowded room where you have so much furniture and no space to do anything else. And then all of a sudden you move some of that furniture out and you got this empty space to fill in. Well, when you're separated from that, Patrick was talking earlier about you got to be still, be separated. When you're separated from that pain, there's space in there for God to come in and heal. He can bring something in and fulfill it. But when you're connected with the pain, you can't be healed. You know, when you have a room full of furniture, you have no more room for furniture. And the same thing with consciousness. You wake up, you create a space between you and the world, between you and your ego, and God can come in and do the rest for you. Isn't that like something else? And for me to know that is weird. You know, how do I know that consciousness wakes me up so that I'm not connected to whatever it is my little thing is, so God can come in and heal it? You know, how do I know that? That's weird, but it's true. And that's why he said we can be healed, because you're one with him, and you have room now where healing can come in. A complaining person, a running person, a person on the run from pain, how can they be helped? They're all one with the pain. You can't put any more furniture in that room because they're one. The room is crowded with thoughts, with anger, with emotions. All that stuff is there. How can you be healed? There's no space for anything else. But what God does, he separates us from our ego so there can be some space and he can come in and do the work. Isn't that like nice? And that's why you're able to do it. You said, you know what, I got to wake up. I got to stop complaining. Whatever your will is, let it be done. And that's when you can start to see your way out. I love that. And you had a part 2 as well. You wanted to thank everybody for letting you tell you about it.
I had so many people that either called or came to visit and shared different things with me. Rhonda did both. She came to visit, she called, gave me a book. I literally went through that book, and when I saw what an irregular lung looked like as opposed to my lung, I've had procedures, all sorts of things. The machines that were hooked up in my house, and it's like I'm telling the doctor, that's not working.
Yeah.
Well, no, but Ms. Davis, you have to keep using it, but it's not working.
Yeah.
I know my own body. I've had this long enough. So let's just unplug it. But you can't, it's too late, I already did it.
Yeah.
It's done. Well, but you're getting better, we want to do another procedure. No, I'm not signing for another procedure. So.
Well, I want to encourage you to stay with the prayer, stay conscious, and let God's will be done. Now, I can't make any medical advice to you at all, but I do know in a state of consciousness, all things are possible. You know, people who are depressed and whatever they feel, they're only that way because there's nothing there that can be fulfilled. You know, if you want to get better in life, you need some space to grow, and God separate you so you can have space to grow. You know, hopeless people who feel a sense of hopelessness, they're so connected with anger and imagination that no light to get in that can bring hope to them. But once they separate from that, then they have hope because there's some room in there to grow in your spirit so that you can grow. That's why God separated us from the imagination, the darkness of our imagination, so the light can shine in and give us life. I'm so crazy about that. Yes, Pat?
You know, I just want to kind of throw something out there that's been, I think it attaches to what we're talking about, but it's been weighing me down for a while, which was I was attached, or have been attached, to outward knowledge instead of inward. And what Sheila kind of tipped it off me when she said at some point she knew her body and she's not going to go with what the doctor, the outside authority said in her case. But I noticed that it's been so true for me that I've always been looking for, when I look to how to do something, I'm always looking in a book or something, or I'm always looking at some external source for it. And I even did it up until yesterday. I'm doing management, I got a lot of responsibilities. I realized some of the things I was doing this year needed to be tweaked and be better.
Yeah.
But instead of kind of really looking from within, I was looking to my old sources again. Yeah. I spent hours Friday night, I was up to like 1 or 2 in the morning. Yesterday I spent a bunch of time, and I was trying to look for a specific thing, that would help me with the system or something. And I just ran myself around, and I went to all these stores trying to find a particular thing. I couldn't find it. Finally, Stephanie said to me, he mentioned something about that. You know what? When I've gone around enough, you stop. And she reminded me of that, you're right.
Yes.
And in a way, I think this whole thing, and when you're going for something that hard externally, what I do is I just go to the end. I'm like a bloodhound. But the problem is, I go over the top. I
Yep.
spend too much time. I don't get to bed on time to do my prayer correctly, and I don't get my prayer done the next morning correctly. All that because I was chasing something externally, which wasn't necessary. I just realized something sitting here. I was trying to solve a problem of management. I just realized something sitting here while we were speaking, just a consciousness came open and showed me the thing that was taking me hours to try to find out on my own with my
Yes,
ego.
sir.
So I just want to kind of hopefully dump that for the year and forever.
You can endure not knowing. You may not have the answer right then. And that's okay sometimes. Just wait. Just use up everything you have, all the information you do have, use it. And if you don't know what to do nothing. It'll come. It will come to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with reading other people how they've done things. I'm not saying not to do that. But it's okay not to know what to do next. People say, oh, you need a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 20-year plan. And you spend 10 years trying to figure out what you're going to do the next 10 years, rather than taking that moment and living off that, and then God will give you the next moment. He will give it to you when you need it. It's okay, but a lot of people cannot endure not knowing. They got to have it all, they got to have the answer, and they got to have it now. And they go nuts. Absolutely, man. You got to endure. If you wait up on the Lord, He'll supply your every need. He really, really will. Let me take Kent and then Frankie, and then I'll come. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo, I had that same issue that Pat had, or has, or had, and, it's interesting because when you go after that knowledge, and you're extreme, like myself, like it sounds like Pat is too, you lose any sort of natural within knowledge that you really have.
Yes, sir.
And, I went into really extreme in my business, and it didn't bring me anything.
Nothing but headaches.
It didn't. And when I came out of that, all the insight in the world was right there.
Yep.
But somehow my mind had tricked me into believing that I needed to go to the books, or I needed to go to actually a person who was an expert who would tell me that. And then it's like you got your medical experts, and what do they say? And these guys the medical experts, I think are crazy.
Yes.
And I'm scared of those people because
They'll kill you.
it's your life on the line. It's your actual
That's
life.
right.
I mean, my business is on the line. At least it's not my life. But you go to these medical experts, and you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And part of you saying, well, they say to stay on this machine, or they say to take this stuff. And these guys aren't guided by the light.
It's amazing too. Your mind will tell you what the doctor said, stay on the machine. And so you trust the darkness of your imagination rather than trusting what you think it may be best for you. Because it comes in right away to tell you what the doctor said, you need to take this medicine, you need to do this.
And then I do what you say. I mean, when I don't know something, I just don't know it.
That's right.
I don't have the answer, and maybe, be in 6 months or 3 weeks or whatever it is, and I'm staying away from the experts.
That's right.
That's the one thing I know I'm going to do.
And the thing about it, just think about God is like God. All-knowing, almighty, all love. He created us. Why wouldn't He take care of us? Just think about it. Why would we trust somebody else before we would trust Him? And where did they get their information from? And look, we're in a mess now financially in this country because we listen to the expert. I was thinking about those people. There's this guy in New York. He ripped off people for $50 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
How many?
Matter, 50 billion.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
They relied on the expert. $50 billion worth.
Right.
Banks and financial companies and nonprofit organizations relied on the man. They thought he was smarter.
And that's it's just the same example. It's just on a much bigger level.
Yes, sir.
He convinced people and they believed the lie. And
It's amazing too that we have such egos that we could be convinced like that. Somebody can come to us and say, "Hey, I can make your money work," but because they're so convinced in themselves, they have that security that they can do it. They somehow or another convince themselves. And they come to our little weak ego and convince us, turn your money over to me and I'll make you rich. Even bank companies he did it with. That is mind-blowing when you think about that. Another thing I think is interesting too, I heard that the government bailed out the banks, right? Gave them money, right? Isn't that our money? That's our money, right?
It's our money.
So now if we wanted some money from the bank, we got to go back and borrow our money
Right.
back from the bank again?
Yeah.
We paying money for our own money
Yep.
that we gave to the bank. Wow. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start me a bank. Let me take.
Can I finish up what I was?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, one thing I did find out that the only thing that really has worked for me in terms of business is there are certain desires of things that I've wanted. And people have talked to me and say, you need to do this or you need to do that. And I couldn't pull it off, you know, what they were saying to me to do.
Yes.
But the only thing that really worked was for me to, there are certain things that I do want. I do have desires for the business, what I want to see it do.
Yes.
And those things tend to come, not when I say so, but they come on their own accord in their own time. And they do come.
That's right.
And that's the only thing that I've seen has actually worked.
They do come. Absolutely. You be patient and endure. God even said for us to stand. And when we have done all we can do to stand some more. He doesn't say cower down, run away, hoop and holler, and complain. He wants you to stand some more, even when you're tired of standing. Wow, he loves us, right? That's amazing. Yes, Frankie.
2 points. You know, it's the first steps to adulthood when you take this kind of pain and endurance.
Yes.
And, you know, the world is there to give you, you know, the sex and the drugs, you know, entertainment, music, and it's all to kind of take you away from yourself and take you away from that pain. That pain is your conscience, being aware of your conscience. And people hate that.
Yeah.
Humans hate that. They want the unconscious and the excitement and all the fun stuff.
Yes, sir.
And really, the truth is on the other side. And I notice even parents hate to have their kids endure the pain.
Yeah.
They give them entertainment, they give them advice, and they don't take it. What they really need is the suffering. They need the pain.
Yeah.
And you know, God says that they should go hungry. Let them go hungry. Some people you shouldn't even give them food. Let them suffer. And
He
then the
says you
suffering,
don't work, you don't eat.
yeah, let the suffering awaken them.
Yeah.
But if you feed them, you keep them fat, they have no reason to wake up inside. So, you know, even when you used to help people, I would say to you, don't help them. Because your help, when you help that person, they get worse.
They get worse.
They get deeper into unconsciousness. It's best that they let them fail and let them go into destruction where they're at, because the fire is not as hot as if you give advice and you help that person. They go deeper. I mean, I have a friend that's, you know, it's really suffering, and I have to let them suffer, because if I help them monetarily, even give them advice, they're going to get worse.
Well, most people don't take your advice anyway. They want other advice. They don't want the true advice. They want something else that's going to ease the pain and prevent them from suffering.
They don't even want the advice. They just want relief from the pain.
Yeah.
They don't really want the truth.
Absolutely.
They just want to be relieved for the moment. They don't want the truth. They don't want to suffer. It's not that they don't want to suffer. They just don't want the pain that they're
A quick
going through.
fix. I totally agree. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I read a really interesting article about the #1 tennis player in the world. They were interviewing his uncle, who's his coach, and it was really relevant because they said, well, what are your techniques for making your nephew such a great player? And he had a couple of interesting things that he said. Number one, he says, I won't let him pay me, because if he pays me to be his coach, then I work for him, and I want him to be working for me.
Yeah.
And the second thing that he said, which is a lot of times in pro tennis, the coaches take care of everything. They go get the strings for the rackets put in, they get their water. He says, no, my nephew has to do everything. He has to go get his strings. He's not going to do anything for him because he wants him to do it on his own.
Yeah.
So they said, well, how did you teach him about diet? Did you make him do anything? Did you tell him to eat these kinds of foods? He says, no. He says, I wanted my nephew to learn about his own diet on his own. And so if he ate something like a hamburger, I wanted him to learn what it feels like to play in a match where he felt bad after
Yeah.
eating. Because he would learn what the right diet is. And of course now he doesn't eat, hamburgers before matches. So really interesting how he essentially trained this individual to be his own person rather than sort of babying him and doing all these things for him and spoiling him, which is usually what they do with champions.
We used to know this as parents too. In the good old days, we knew this. We knew this truth. But we sold it down the drain for some reason. For the government, for the experts. We sold our kids down the drain to take the advice of other people. Sometimes I'm looking at certain TV shows, I'm hearing these experts giving out advice, and it's all dumb advice, but they're so secure in what they're saying, it seems like it's going to work. And I'm thinking, this is not going to work. This is not good, but they're the experts. And they're all puffed up in it, and it's just to make you worse. It's nothing there to do you good at all. And they make a lot of money to keep you down. They make buku money being experts. We got to come back to common sense.
Yes.
And the only way you're going to get back is by enduring. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right now occurred to me, industries have been created to keep us from enduring.
Yes.
A pill for that and whatever, anointment for this and I don't know what else. And, it's amazing. And the other thing I really wanted to say before is, how much our lives would really improve if we'd be just simply willing to endure.
No pain, no gain.
In other words, the divorces that occur, as many as they do, it's a lack, to some extent, certainly it's a lack of not wanting to endure.
Yeah.
And how our personal relationships would really improve
I
if
hear
we
a lot
would
of people-
simply have the willingness to endure.
I hear a lot of people say they live together because before they get married because they want to see if it's going to work. How do you know it's a lifetime thing? It's not like a thing for a couple months, and then if it doesn't work, then you leave each other. You have to endure till death do you part. And they don't have that mindset though. Oh, we're living together because we want to see if it's going to work or not. So how do you know, at what time period do you know that this marriage is not going to work? You're not dead yet. We got to endure. I have a question, but first let me ask. Yes, ma'am.
I would say in that kind of vein, I think people, instead of trusting their own instincts on their relationships, think they already know.
Yes.
Like the whole living together. Like my friends who do it, like you already know before you move in that person whether your relationship's going to work or not. But you want to put something tactical that's going to show you specifically instead of trusting your own,
Yes,
what you
ma'am.
already know is true. And what most people can see is true, but you are so unwilling to say, wait, I know this, I don't need any more physical or material confirmation, but they still go for that confirmation.
Yeah, in denial. They
And
don't want to
yeah.
face reality.
And even though their instincts, and they just ignore the instinct that they know it's running through them and it's obvious,
Yeah.
but they still can't acknowledge and give power to that.
Denial, you must be born again. You got to wake up. You got to wake up. What do you think about what you've heard so far?
Okay, see, like, on myself, we have a problem, with my son. And
How old is he?
he's 19,
Okay.
and,
Is this your wife?
she's my wife.
Okay.
Yes. And right now we're in a very difficult time with him, like he smokes, but he doesn't want to stop.
Is he living with you?
Yes, he was living in Mexico for a while. He was studying down there, and then he stopped studying, and he wasn't doing too good down there because he was having a lot of fun. So we brought him back.
Right.
And at first, when he came back, he was okay, and then he started again.
Right.
And
When you say he smoked, is he smoking marijuana or
only marijuana.
Marijuana,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
And he's living with you now?
Yes.
And he's 19 and he's smoking marijuana. Is he
Yeah.
working?
Okay. Okay. He came and he was going to college. Then he stopped.
Right.
See, he says, that he did not like the schedules or the teacher. See,
Complain.
That's a good reason to stop.
complaining.
Why don't you put him out? Why are you letting him stay with you?
See, okay, it's my fault. My wife, she told me, she has to go out, and I feel bad, but I think this is the only solution. So he has to go out. I feel bad, but there's no other
You feel bad
solution.
that he have to work?
Well, he helps me to work like twice a week, but that's not the point. The
Right.
thing, he has to keep himself busy.
But why do you feel bad that he should have to work?
No, about work, no, that's fine.
What do you
That's-
feel bad about?
He's suffering and we are suffering. You know what I'm saying?
But you feel bad that he is suffering, and why?
Okay, as a father, I know I'm causing him a problem, the way he's acting, right? But
Yeah.
see, if I let him do what he's doing, it's gonna get worse, and it's gonna get worse for us too.
No, it's going to get worse if you don't let him do what he's doing. You got to let him go
Yeah.
so
No,
he
I
can
understand.
do what he's doing, and hopefully he'll wake up before it's too late. But if you let him stay there and then try to, and believe me, I work with a lot of young men. I know for a fact that if you don't put him out and let him get a job, let him smoke a little marijuana until he wake up, if you try to protect him, he's going to get worse. And then you really gonna feel. You agree with that? Yeah, your wife agreed with me. You need to stop being weak, stop being a mama, and put him out. Yeah, you more than a mama than the wife is.
Yeah, I know it's my fault, right? Because see, I'm acting weak.
Yeah, so you should apologize. You know what, son? I have been weak with you. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to go. You got to get out, get a job. I suggest you stop smoking marijuana, but if you don't want to, that's up to you. But you got to go. You're a grown man now. I've done all I can do for you. I made some mistakes with you, and I apologize. But you got to go. You got to put him out. If you don't, you're going to live to regret it.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now, especially with my wife, because see, my wife, she's at home all the time.
Yeah.
See, I go to work,
Right.
but it's not the same,
Right. So you speak English too?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So you agree that he need to put him out, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Right.
But he's weak and
Yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself being weak. You're the head of your family, the head of your wife and your children. And if the head is weak, what do you expect them to become? You got to bite the bullet, apologize for the mistakes you made with him, and let him go. And that's what real love is. And then he'll go out there, he'll come back later and thank you for it.
No, I agree. It's true. About what you're saying, because that's the way it should be.
So why don't you just do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I feel, as a father, but I have
No,
to.
you
I
feel,
have no.
but see, you're not feeling that as a father.
Yeah.
You're feeling that as a mother.
I understand.
I am the father and
Yeah,
he's the mother.
that's
No,
right.
I accept. Like
You
just
switch
told me,
roles.
I accept that.
Yeah. Well, it's time to stop being the mother. You have to forgive your mother for turning you into a mother. Whatever she did, your father for not being a good example. You need to forgive them so you can get rid of this mother spirit, this mother identity inside of you. Because one of the reasons your son is having that problem is that he has not had a real father to guide him. A tough man, tough love.
No, I agree on that.
And so you need to apologize to him for that and let it go and let him go. Do not let him have a key to come in and out of the house when he wants to. Don't give him a house key. Let him go out and suffer. And then you'll live to be a proud father. If not, you're going to suffer the rest of your days. Your
Like
wife
right
is
now-
right.
Like right now, we're, suffering. My wife and I, we always, well, sometimes, we have problems, right?
Yeah.
But it's normal in marriage, but we get along,
Right. Is he your only child?
No, he's the second.
This is second. How's the other one doing?
He's doing fine. He goes to UCLA.
Oh, okay.
He's
Well,
going
you're gonna
to
have to
Italy.
is he the baby? This one is the baby?
No, he's the middle.
Oh,
Then
this one is the middle bit?
Yes,
child?
and then we have another girl.
Oh, okay.
17.
You gotta let this one go. You gotta have some tough love. Stop being a mama. Listen to your wife. Your wife need a husband, not another wife.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. This is a gay marriage.
Yeah. It's
Really?
Yeah. And women hate weak men. Women need a strong man. Their nature need a strong man. Someone she can look up to and respect, and when she argue with you, you're not emotional about it. And that's what love is, and the family will be fine. But you gotta let your son go.
Why should I lie? I'm
No,
saying
that's
what-
right.
what,
No,
what
you're
I'm-
totally right. And that's what's gonna help you, is that you're being honest about it. Absolutely, you're doing the right thing. It's best to be honest about it so you can see your way out of it. So I admire that. But now you gotta take some action. You gotta let him go.
Like, right now, I can't sleep.
Yeah. You can't sleep because you're worried about him, or because of what he's putting you through.
Okay. See, both.
Okay.
See, because he gets very aggressive with my wife.
Yeah. Because he hates what you guys are doing to him.
With me, it's no problem because
No.
I tell him,
Because your wife is a tough guy.
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
right.
And so
And
what it
he
is-
doesn't like it.
Right. But you're making your wife look like the villain. By being weak with him, he thinks she is the villain, that she's doing wrong. And that's your fault that he's seeing it that way. Because your wife is right about what she's doing, and you should be with her on this and take action.
That's the reason we came, because we needed the help
Yeah.
to advise us.
Oh, good. How did you hear about us?
My wife, she passed the other day, and she was reading what it says in the
Oh, good.
outside.
Oh, right on. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you came. So are you going to put him out?
Yes.
Yeah. I work with a lot of young men. We have a home for young men. And last month I had to put one out that I was very close to, a nice guy, and he just wasn't doing anything. And I had to put him out. Emotionally, it was hard to do it, but I did it anyway. And I sleep like a baby. I have not missed one nap yet. And he's out there doing what he does. He seems to be okay, I guess. And I'm not worried about it because he got to get out there and do it on his own. He's not gonna. He didn't take advantage of the opportunities we gave him. So now he has to go and try his way and see if that worked. And if you love your son, you will let him go.
Yeah, I have to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
will you do it?
understand, Yes, I'm
Yeah.
going to. Yes.
Yeah. And don't give him a lot of money or anything. Just say, son, you got to go.
No, we do not give him money.
Yeah.
Since they were kids, they used to go with me to
Right.
work. They never ask us for money. They go with me. They work.
Well, put him out. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. You don't resent your husband for being weak. Does he make you angry by being weak? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't resent him. That's the mama in him. He can't help it. He needs to forgive his mother for making him that way. So you have to be honest with him, but don't be angry at him. And then that love that you have for him will help him to overcome it. All right? I'm sorry you have to go through it, but you got to endure it. But don't be angry. Don't be angry. But you are 100% right. You got to be a man. If you love your son, you'll set him free. All right?
It's like, another thing, like when he goes to work, he concentrates and he does the work the way, it should be.
Right.
I never tell him, he concentrates.
He'll be
But-
fine. You just need to let him go.
Yes,
You need to apologize for being weak and let him go. All right?
yes.
I'm glad you came.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I want to encourage you to get a copy of my Be Still and Know prayer CD. And you got to calm down so that God can change your life. He's not going to change it in your emotions and mind and overreacting. You got to calm down. He said that when you pray, be still and know him. Know that he's God. He wants you to calm down so he can create your life for you. There's a kingdom of heaven within of all of us, and it's created out of love. Visit my website at church@bondinfo.org. No, that's an email. bond@bondinfo.org. Bondinfo.org. Thank you, Pat. Bondinfo.org. And thank you very much. And thank you guys, too. Appreciate it.